It's Sea-Duck Again is brought to you by Hackensack Brewing Company and their Imperial Pilsner Auga, which was created in honor of the legendary DJs The Awesome Two. Thick Crates, pure hip-hop satisfaction. Check out their limited edition new releases available now on Instagram. Weaponized Records, an independent music label serving up underground hip-hop. The revolution will not be televised. It will be weaponized. And the Spitslam Record Label Group. The Spitslam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spitslam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound.
It's C-Doc again.
I can't get away from this place. I don't understand it. I don't know what's going on. As you can tell, I am not C-Doc. But I'm here anyway. But as you know, C-Doc doesn't do this alone. I don't do this alone. So coming up from New Jersey, it's got one of the dopest pages on Instagram. If you don't follow him, you're a sucker. Here we go. Ultra Mag 7.
That's the best intro ever.
Hey, you know.
Yeah, you know.
In case you didn't know, I'm not C-Doc.
You know, every week we say that if people watch the show, I don't see my numbers go up. So there's a lot of suckers out there.
Yeah, hey, this is true.
Either they're the suckers or I'm the sucker. People go follow me. So somebody's a sucker.
What's happening?
I'm chilling. We got I think we have somebody. No man, I think he's masquerading as somebody we know.
I think so too.
We got my homegirl Newbie in the place. What's up, Newbie? Vengeant One, Dan Marasuti. We got VQ Vashon in the house. What's up, Vashon? That's family. And Vashon has a show that's coming soon to Channel Zero. So he's going to be added on to the family. So that should be fun. Yeah, he's going to bring a little.
Speaking of family.
Oh, snap. Oh, we got somebody here?
Yeah. The big man with the plan over at Rap Station.
Oh, yeah.
And the host of Hip Hop Gods, which is what, on episode 9,458.
That one.
Yeah. Better known as Flatline.
Whoa.
Flat Lizzo.
Okay. Here we are.
What's up, brother?
Chillin'.
Yo, I love that t-shirt.
It is, thank you. It is a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah, because everybody knows that's the best Gangstar album.
Yeah, and one of the best album covers ever, too.
Yeah.
And I thought it was appropriate. I can't do that backwards. Malcolm on the shirt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100 years old. Rest in peace, brother Malcolm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Vengeant One is talking about Stewie. He's on the floor down here.
Yeah, he can't get to Jennifer anymore. It's
He cannot.
And so Flatline, let me flex a little bit before I ask you about your show.
Okay.
Let me tell you what happened to me. So this Sunday, I was in Hackensack, New Jersey. Salute to my brother Mike Jones, the good people at Hackensack Brewing. Also, Special K and Teddy Ted, the awesome too. Salute to them.
Yep, always.
They had a wonderful event, and me and my partner Carter Ranks, we were driving up, and somehow we started talking about Chill Rap G.
Hmm.
You know, we would talk about our love for Chill Rap G. We love it. You know, he's great. And I'm standing there. Carter Ranks goes to the bathroom, and I look up and I see Chill Rap G. And I'm like, what? So then he walks through, like, yo, hey, what's up, Rob? How you doing? Whatever, whatever. So then he later performs. He does Quarters in Session, and then he does The Power.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And
Wow.
so then afterwards, I name dropped C-Doc. I'm like, yeah, so I work with C-Doc. He's like, huh? He's like, huh, what? I was like, yeah. And it was cool. Also, Sugar Ray from Double X Posse was there.
Mm.
And he got on, did Not Gonna Be Able to Do It.
Wow.
An executive class. Oh, it was, dude. Listen, Chilltown, JC, Jersey City was in the house. So it was a good time, you know, with all that. Who else? Scratch Master Jazzy G was there, which was funny. I'll tell this story. He hits me up the next day. He inboxes me. He was like, "Yo, Ultra Mag, how come you didn't come up and speak to me?" I'm like, I said, I shook your hand. I gave you dap. I shook your hand. And I was like, hold on, I'm gonna post this video. I post the video. It's a video of me shaking his hand and saying,
Oh.
and he's like, I said, I guess you just don't know what I look like. So
Wow.
but it was a good time, a lot of good DJs. It was nice to 43 years at the Awesome 2 on radio. 43 years.
It's amazing. Salute to them always. Always.
43 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Dude, that's so. Listen, Malcolm X didn't even live that long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's amazing. Yeah. And weekly, consistently.
From K-Day would have. He's still on the air.
Oh, he is.
K-Day, but is still. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he was on the air before he came to K-Day.
Wow.
So he's been probably about that time.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was at.
All right.
Oh no.
So Flatline.
She's back.
Is she? It's
yeah. You're frozen for a second, Jennifer.
Yeah. You're back. Flatline.
Yes, sir.
I just reposted something that you said to me.
Oh.
So you must have a new show.
I do, yeah, 2 weeks in a row. Why not?
Tell us all about it.
Oh, is there time?
There is time.
Okay. Got the list right here.
Yeah.
Right here. Okay. Of course, Enemy Radio, featuring Donald D and Jazzy J. Got the new DJ Muggs, Kingpin, Skinny Pimp, and Heartbreak JC single, which is crazy. And I hope that there's an album in the works because I've just had it on repeat. Got your buddy Benny the Butcher in the mix, featuring Styles P. Dope track. New Tri-State featuring Opio and Casual. New Demrick featuring Be Real. New Bone Thugs and Harmony. New Black Sea from the RBL Posse and DJ Idea. New Exhibit. New Master Killer single featuring Raekwon and Capadonna. New Murs featuring Chase Infinite. And new Status the Marlboro Man featuring Crooked Hooks and Elvis Sensei.
Oh, my friend Elvis Sensei.
Yep.
Who will be the next guest on the Prospective next month?
That'll be a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm feverishly trying to get you a new episode.
Yeah, I know. That's fine.
It's it's you said enemy radio. Let's talk a little bit about enemy radio.
Okay, so I know that you have listened to it probably 672 times.
I've heard every iteration of it.
Right, yeah. So I have two, and I've enjoyed each time I've listened, but then since it dropped, I've consistently been listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish C-Doc was here, because my appreciation level is through the roof for that album. It is a one of one.
Mm-hmm.
It is unlike anything else that's out there, and I just hear something new every time I put it on. It keeps my ears interested.
Yeah. Well, you were on last week when we were we were talking about the album, and hear him and M-Rock say it was like a mix of Bomb Squad and kind of the Dust Brothers with Paul's Boutique. And that's how I hear it in my ears. It's like this, and then there's so many twists and turns.
Yes.
But did you happen to catch Chuck this morning on the Breakfast Club?
I did not.
Yeah, he was on there with Curtis Blow.
I saw a clip.
Jennifer's babysitter. And
right. That's right.
And it was a good interview.
Good.
Yeah, actually, Charlemagne and Envy didn't get on my nerves.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was funny because I was listening to it on iHeartRadio, and what I didn't realize until later when the video came out, the iHeartRadio one that they put up, it's a chopped up interview because it was only like a half an hour, 35 minutes, and then I'm watching the thing, it's like over an hour. I'm like, because we all know Chuck can talk, so it was.
Yeah.
Chuck can talk.
Yep.
So yeah, it's good. It's up. It's good. I think, isn't he supposed to be on Sway or something?
I'm not sure of his current schedule. I don't know. Probably. That would make sense.
Yeah, I thought C-Doc said he was going to be on Sway or something. I don't know.
Oh boy. So hold on a second. We got the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, snap.
None other than C-Doc himself.
Oh, he made it.
Appears to be calling from his car. Hold on.
Yeah.
You rang?
Oh, this guy.
C-Doc in motion.
They lost me.
No, we hear you. Or not. This is like a Chuck D interview.
Oh, yeah. Terrible idea.
Right. He's going to put a mask on and pull his hoodie up over his head.
Yeah.
Well, we won't wait for you, but how far are you from home?
Well, we tried.
Well, we tried. Okay.
All right.
Maybe not.
Hold up. See that? Put that reaper out. Oh my God. Well, do you want to call back when you are situated? Okay.
Oh, it's the hand.
Hi, Mara.
The hand.
Hi, hand.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
All right. So
sorry, I was trying to jump on there, but we're in the middle of the boondocks, so
All righty then.
How far out are you?
No.
He still can't hear you.
Oh, okay. You can't hear me?
We can.
We can hear you.
I guess. Oh, you can. We're about 20 minutes, half hour.
Okay.
Or so.
Well, call back.
All right.
Call back when you're situated.
I will do.
It's only your show.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not Jennifer or Jenny again. Even though she's been here all week.
Wow.
Right.
All right. We have our guest waiting. Let's
We do.
let's bring him on.
Why don't you introduce him?
Listen, I'm going to bring onto the stage a young man. You know, we usually have we usually have veteran rappers, but we have the young guns here, straight out of New York City. We have my man, the one and only JSwiss.
What's up? Peace, peace.
There he is.
Peace. What's happening, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. It's funny. I'm definitely young. I'm a young gun, but in a way, I'm a veteran at the same time too. I've been doing it for not as long as some of the people you've had on here, but it's been a minute.
Right. Well, at least you've written a rhyme in the past 20 years, so you.
No, but I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, still pushing the latest album. You never really know. I love it. You know, you talked about listening to an album like 672 times. I listened to this one probably twice that, and I still love it. You know, just as much. So still pushing that, working on some new music. So and life is good as a human being. So yeah.
Okay.
That's great. I was listening to that album, and I saw that you have it on vinyl as well.
It's coming. Yeah. We had the pre-order. The pre-order for vinyl now. It's going to be coming, you know, physically in hand in the summer. It's beautiful. It's a gatefold jacket. If you know that, you know, it folds open. Personal album, so a lot of personal nice touches in there. We got the full booklet with all the liner notes and lyrics, you know, in there as well, and some beautiful artwork. So it's it'll be a collector's item as well as something that sounds good, you know.
Because you're only pressing up 300 copies. Is that right?
Yeah. It's limited edition. You know, going all out and making sure, like I said, that it looks and feels equally, you know, as it sounds. And it's something you got to get it when you can, you know. Right. Yeah.
Have any of your other projects been like physical, like beyond CD, like vinyl?
This is my first full project on vinyl. I have some 7-inches, you know, singles, you know, on, you know, one on each side type of thing. Single Always New with Nicholas Payton on trumpet, and once again featuring Mark Whitfield, on guitar. I got that, a single with the two of those, a couple singles from my album. Every Word is $1. But this is the first full 12-inch full album, and it's like it's the best one to do it. For sure.
Absolutely. So what we always like to do is we like to go back and get your history and get your start. So as we say, you are a young man. So how did you get your start in hip? Like, what drew you to hip hop?
Man, so it's really what drew me to music. You know, hip hop is definitely a vehicle, but you hear elements of all different types of music, because that's what I grew up listening to when I was really young, and I was shy and quiet, and nobody would expect me to be, you know, an MC on stage. Specifically, my dad had a lot of music in the house, so you know, he grew up as a musician. Like really early in my life, / right before I was born, he was a jazz buyer at Tower Records. A lot of that music into the house. So I grew up listening to, you know, The Roots and A Tribe Called Quest and John Coltrane and Quincy Jones and Soul Live and Lettuce and Jamiroquai and Brand New Heavies, like this whole super big mix of things. And so, you know, I mentioned I was real kind of quiet and shy growing up. So I wasn't like the kid who was always performing in the house and everything, but all that music was just kind of marinating, you know, in me. And so when I got to like middle school is when I first started, you know, writing raps. My classmates were hearing me do that before my parents. There's this infamous story that my dad brought some musicians in to perform at my school. And they're performing. And they're like, if any students want to get up and do something, this is in Dobbs Ferry, New York, and Westchester. Like, if any students want to get up and do something with us, you know, it's open. And all the students are like, we want JSwiss. I had the same nickname at the time, like JSwiss. And my parents are like, who's JSwiss? You know, they don't even know. And, you know, their quiet little son starts walking up to the stage, and even the musicians on stage, you know, shout out to my big brother, Nick Rolfe, and Casey Benjamin, if you're familiar with kind of the jazz scene, saxophonist, producer, vocoder, player, most famously known for playing with Robert Glasper Experiment, as well.
Okay.
Heavily.
Right.
He was in that band as well. So this is like my first time actually being on a stage. And so they played something and I rapped some popular song of the day. And that was the first time my parents knew that I was writing raps, probably around like 12, 13. And then from there, it was really like a hobby. My parents got me a 4-track tape recorder that I used in high school, which is really dope. So I'm old enough to have some stuff I recorded on cassette tape.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got to college at UNC Chapel Hill is when it really started to take off. There was a studio in the library. That was the first time I put out my first mixtape in 2009, late 2009. And it's been consistently recording, performing, recording, since then. It's been a beautiful journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Going back to your name,
Mhm.
does that have anything to do with the JSwiss sneaker? Is that?
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about this other day. It has to. I didn't wear JSwiss myself, but it's a nickname that my friend gave me when we were in like 5th grade. So I'm 10 years old. So I don't remember exactly how it got there, but my name starts with a J. My friend just wanted to give me a nickname. How much deeper can it be for some 10-year-old kids? Throw the J on the K, and that's it. And it's a name that I've kept, my entire time. It's a nickname I got before I was rapping. When I started rapping, I just put it on and I haven't had to change it since. It's unique, but it's not too complicated. The only things I tell people, all caps, no spaces, but otherwise simple. Yeah.
Listen, I'm glad you said all caps, no spaces.
Yeah.
Because we talked about earlier, I got a song with Chuck and I'm coming back out rapping, but I said put my name in all caps. I said it's Ultramax 7 in all caps. Nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do the U and the M, all caps.
Yeah.
And that's,
No, I'm talking about.
I do it for two reasons. Number one, I'm a big MF Doom fan, so it's respect to the villain. And number two, when I read the press, it stands out amongst everybody else because it's like,
I don't even think. For me, it's just the fact that that's just always how I did it.
Right.
Is the thing. And so that's what's out there. That's if you Google it, it comes up. So if people put the space or a hyphen, it's like a different word, Yeah.
So and a different artist. I found out.
Yes.
I went to Apple Music to pull up your music, and I put a J, like a -Swiss, and that was not you.
And I put out a lot. I built a big catalog, for people to find me, and not the other dude, And it's trademarked, so it's trademarked like that. So got to keep it consistent.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Newbie because she made sure she She's like, Aaron, make sure that you put it that way. I'm like, we got him. I heard you say the Roots and A Tribe Called Quest, but who like when you're coming up and you're writing rhymes, there's certain people you admire. Like who are some of the MCs you admired?
Oh man, it's consistent to that, so Black Thought, is a favorite, for sure. Even though some of my favorite verses are Malik B as well. On those albums. Too. So the both of them, with Tribe, like Q-Tip is maybe my favorite musician as a whole for, what he's done as an MC as well as production with the Tribe Called Quest, with his own stuff. Bringing in elements like I do with my music of the jazz and live instrumentation in it too. So I love it. The Renaissance album by Q-Tip. That's I say I'm good about appreciating music and just saying, everybody is their own thing. So you could appreciate something and not want to do exactly what they did.
Right.
The only album in the world that if I had the power to just like snatch it and put it in my catalog, it would be the Renaissance. Because I would say for my taste and like my vision, it's like perfect, from top to bottom. And then, Fife is a favorite MC, as well. So those are some of my influences, especially like young growing up. That's the top.
Wow. I've been I've been trying to do a video for Life is Better for the longest time, like the
Oh,
way
wow.
I do stuff. So I'm like, because it names all these different groups. So I'm like, I got to do this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I'm curious because you said the Roots. What's your what do you have a favorite Roots album?
Probably Do You Want More? That's the one that comes to mind first.
Okay.
Do You Want More comes to mind. Game Theory comes to mind. And Tipping Point / Things Fall Apart.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are the first.
My favorite is Illadelph Half-Life, and this is not about me, but I'm gonna just say this real quick. Questlove asked me to be a part of the Roots, but I swear
He did.
This was 1992, and this is how crazy I am. They were the Square Roots at the time and going around Philly, and I'm like, I got my own thing, and like, yeah. Now I'm looking like, yeah, I think I should have joined the Roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a good career move. I heard you mention college. You majored in journalism.
Majoring in broadcast journalism, electronic communication is what they called it. Yeah, at UNC Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Having the journalism degree, did that help any with your rhymes and rhyming, or?
I wonder what fits with what, or if it's something that was just in me that works for both.
Right.
I'm definitely, I'm a writer. I listen, I'm a listener, so being able to observe and gather information and then rearrange it in a way and then put it back out, which is what you do as a journalist. You go out, you cover a story, you see what's around you, you talk to people, you ask the right questions, and then you take all of that and then you organize it in a way where it's informational, it's entertaining for the people. And that's basically what you're doing. If like I like to do is live life with my antennas up, always at all times. If I'm reading books, if I'm living life, if I'm having a conversation, if I'm looking at whatever, what can I take from that, as fuel? And so I don't know, if we got sirens. I'm in New York City. New York City, it's very it's authentic, right now. But yeah, so I don't know if it's, the studying the journalism that feeds that, or the hip hop background that feeds that with the journalism. I mean, I started doing both, around the same time, too. Like I put out my first mixtape the same semester that I started, studying journalism at UNC Chapel Hill. So it might be just something that's in me, too, but they definitely relate.
Yeah. I was reading your bio, and I think, the head honcho of the channel, I think Chuck D said like you are a master storyteller.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, that's, those props are like, you get you get Chuck D talking about you like that, somebody who's a MC, a thinker, a orator, a leader of people, to give you props like that is special.
Yeah, I don't, not that he needs props for it, but I think a lot of people don't understand, and obviously Flatline can attest to it because he's been working with Chuck D for 150 years, but how much music and how much up on hip hop Chuck is.
Yeah,
like nothing gets past him.
And I love that because we're in a time where a lot of people will say hip hop isn't this, hip hop isn't that, there's not this, but there's so much, and it's so much more productive to shout out and uplift the good stuff out there, because there's a lot, there's an overwhelming amount. In fact, there's too much to keep up with, even the amazing stuff. Yeah. And so, shout out to him for doing that. That's important. That's super important.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. It's crazy that you say that, because like I come from an era where you could count the hip hop records like on one hand. Like, there was a lot of 12 inches, but full records, you could count them on one hand. And then, it was weirder when I got older, when they started talking about the East versus West Coast battle. I'm like, when I was a kid, if it was dope, it was dope. We listened to anything. But like you said, there's so much, and there's so much noise. So like I said, praise to Chuck because
Yeah.
he hears it all, and
Yeah.
and he details it. It's not just like, yeah, I heard it. He's like, yeah, that song you did, and he'll say the person you did it with, or producer, or something.
He's all about the details. Like we played your music, I'm sure you know, on Chuck's show.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've seen multiple times over the years.
Yeah. So he's really into supporting the artists, and it's a pleasure to do so.
And like you said, we'll shout out. I try to be good about crediting who's involved with the things, and be the same way as this person produced it. This person's playing this instrument. This person's got a verse. All of that. So I love that. That's the blueprint from how he is now to how he started. That's how all our artists should be, for sure.
Yeah, definitely,
absolutely.
Sure.
I'm really curious about the production side of things with your music, just because you mentioned like the whole jazz influence and there's players involved.
Yeah.
Because I'm newer to your music, I've heard it through Chuck's show over the years, but I did a deep dive and I'm like, wow, like this, I've been missing out is basically what I'm trying to say. So I'm really impressed with what you're bringing to the table. Production wise, like, are you bringing in like bass players and drummers and guitarists and horn players? Like, that's what it sounds like. There's like a live element. Yeah, I'm doing all that as needed. For me, what's been really cool is to go from starting from doing your typical, well, first, the mixtape in the era of the zip files and all that, and you rap over the existing beats and with the mix of a little bit of what you do on Fruity Loops, that kind of era, to getting with, some real solid, electronic producers that might do some sampling or just not as much of the live instrumentation. And then transitioning into bringing back what really I grew up on, which is bringing the live instrumentation. And so the first iteration of that was like very much sounding like a live band recorded in a room. Okay. And then it took really settling into a sound that it's not in your face of just trying to say like, I did live instrumentation to tell you that I use live instrumentation, but just for it to feel right, for it to knock like a hip hop record, for it to be dynamic, and for the live instrumentation really to be used as a way for things to not feel static, for them to be dynamic, have those ebbs and flows, even if it's not all a live band. So, on Every Word is a Dollar, I worked, heavily with good friend of mine, producer Paul Bloom. So he's a keyboard player, but, these days, you could play keys, you can pull up all different types of sounds, strings, drums. He had the drum pad and everything. So you might do that and then call in a bass player or call in a horn player, have a bridge and mix things in. So it's not the live band in the room, but it's really as needed where you bring in the live elements. And the electronic, production, it's not just loop something, or loop the whole time. It's creating sections. And even within that, it's cool how I've had to more recently think of myself as a producer as well, in the more traditional sense, that I'm not a beat maker, but often what's been really cool in working so closely with producers like Paul Bloom or with Michael Leonard, who I've had projects with, or Sly Fifth Ave. And Sly is an incredible saxophonist, played with Prince, has played with Taylor Swift, has done stuff for orchestra. And Michael, he plays with Steely Dan, and he does stuff for orchestra, and then he does the hip hop stuff with me. And in working so closely and not just sending beats back and forth, I might come with an idea, like a humming idea or beatboxing idea or whatever, or just an idea of a vibe, and sit down with like Paul, and we'll start from scratch. And I might not play anything, but I might say, this is what I'm going for. He might start playing something, say, let's keep that. Okay, let's build. He starts building this section. I let him do his thing for a little while. And it's like, wait, we need a change here. I'm hearing something like this. He'll play something. So I'm very hands-on, at the same time too. I think I have a good ear, even though I can't play that much. Right.
And then from listening to all this types of music that is lush and some of it more complicated than others, and having sections and bridges, I kind of come with that background, but then also from a background of just loving hip hop and let's make it knock. Let's get into, the pocket. And so, it's really cool how I've been able to find my sound in that way, and also find my tribe of producers and really working closely with the same people. So it's just, I don't know this person. We interact only when it's time to send me something. It's like, no, we're talking about, you know, all the producers on the album have an idea of what my vision is for the project as a whole, which is a reflection of where I am in my headspace as a person in my life. And so we're really understanding, you know, what we're trying to accomplish through the project.
I love it. I love everything about it. It sounds like so natural across all your albums. And then you can also hear the growth, because I started at the beginning and then, you know, went through everything.
Yeah.
And I just think your like arsenal of tools of people that you know, producers and players, just sets you apart and kind of gives you an advantage to have that voice, even just musically, without the rhymes, just the music. It's like it's very, very impressive what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And the cool, well, I would say like the magic sauce to making it all work, and also like the biggest privilege to me that makes me enjoy all that's happening is from being the artist that I am and being able to have the respect of like literally some of the best musicians in the world. Is not just to work on the music, but to know each other as people, you know? So I had this incredible privilege of like, there's people who I was fans of before or am fans of now, of just like blown away of the artists that they are, but also like, I know their family, they know my family. I could hit them up and we could joke about whatever and like get a happy birthday text from one of my favorite artists in the world. Like we know each other on that level. And so that's one of the coolest things. That's a reward of doing this. And I think that's also what makes the music even better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry, I went off a little bit.
Ultra Magus.
No, I didn't. Listen, I'll say this. You were born at the right time, because I can go back to a time when the early hip hop pioneers, and when records came out, they were basically funk bands that were playing music, and it was live. Then we went to drum machines. Then we went to samples. And I remember, like, you know, when the Roots were coming out and they were playing, and it's dope, but it sounds kind of tinny as opposed to everything else. And like, I know one of Flatline's favorite groups, the Goats, and they're another group from Philly, and they had like a band, but it was still kind of tinny. And then, you know, I think it was until the Roots got with like Bob Power, because he had worked with Stetsasonic, so he knew how to kind of, you know, Bobby Simmons on the drums, trying to get everything right. So he got Questlove right with that. But like I'm saying, so now with you, it just sounds natural. So you're in a time where it's not foreign for us to see somebody up with their, you know, hip hop with a band, or hear it and it sounds complete. Like, you know, like I have a friend, she, you know, she's, you know, she'll listen to some hip hop, but it's like she loves things that are very musical. So I was like, listen to JSwiss. That's it. You're gonna love it. I'm like, you're gonna love his stuff, because you know, you just hear like a loop or something. But I said, listen to JSwiss. I said, you're gonna like his stuff.
No, I appreciate that. And I also got to shout out one of the things that I've been working on, in addition to, like, I'm still pushing You Never Really Know. The album is still fresh. I'm still in the midst of releasing some like incredible, if I say so myself, like music videos. Work with an incredible director, have a good rapport with as well. Vice Blanloy, he's French from Bordeaux. We've done some really dope stuff. So I'm still pushing that album. But I started working on right now this project that we released one song, and it's me, some of just the best musicians, drummer. This is two drummers, one on the record, one on the live shows we're going to be doing, bassist, keyboardist, and saxophonist. And the project is called Who All Gonna Be There? Who All Gonna Be There? Yeah.
That's dope.
And so we're having our debut show at New Blue in New York City on July 8th. And we're going to be releasing the EP later this year. But I mean, it's drummers Marcus Gilmore, Jarish Oakley, bassist Ben Williams, saxophonist Marcus Strickland on keys, Chad Self, aka Asar. And these are like some of my favorite musicians in the world. I said it's a privilege. These people, they played with your Glaspers and Terrace Martins and even your Herbie Hancocks. I mean, these are, if you think about like the Wayne Shorter and Ron Carter, these are like the people that are going to be those, when they're older. And so it's a really cool, we kind of, transformer, built it up, we're all doing our own thing, but have this project that's really special. So again, just keeping with that live music, at the intersection of like hip hop and jazz and R&B and soul, that doesn't sound forced, it's real natural. So I'm excited about that too.
Yeah. Oh, now I am as well.
Yeah. And I love the name too. Who all gonna be there,
Yeah. That's dope.
We were like, what's the not corny but blackest name we could think of for this?
That's it. That's it, bro.
That's it.
Listen, that's like, summertime cookout. Yo, you come. Who you said something about the director. Did the French director? Did he do Out of Bounds?
He did. He did Out of Bounds. He did Slow Down. He did One, which is also with Marcus Strickland. He produced that and is playing sax on that. And then Everything You Need. And then we have a music video for Beaming that's going to be coming soon as well off the album. So yeah, we work well. And he's like, he's a cinematographer. These are not just like cell phone. He's like, I want to make short films, with the music video. So I'm like, let's do it. And he had me running all around New York City, to record all these music videos, and it's well worth it. Well worth it.
I love Out of Bounds.
Yeah.
It's so much like the kaleidoscope, the ladies right there. It was like when y'all did like the choreography where you grab the hands.
Yeah.
And even to the very end where they catch like the B-roll footage when y'all just laughing and walking. Like it's so dope. I love it. Yeah. I love it. It's like it kept me captivated. Wait, is that the what is it? I love that. Yo, bro, this line is so dope. He's like, I've never been to a therapist that had beats.
That's in the half.
That's in and that's in the half.
Yeah, and I love that's a real personal song. Yeah.
Actually, what really drew me into that song, and I'm not trying to compare it, but the beat reminds me of like it sounds like the beat almost would be on like Slum Village's second album. Like it had like this Dilla-esque thing, and then you get into this flow. But when you said that rhyme, I'm like, yo, that line, I'm like, yo, that's dope. Yo, that's a dope.
Yeah, and I love that song. That was, it really had me like digging deep and getting vulnerable, looking at myself, saying that there's some things on there that's about family. That I said in a way super transparently and spelled out on the record, before, speaking to family about it, I remember that was like the one song, I have a great relationship with my parents. They love my music. So once I had the album mastered and did the first car test, I did it with them. And that was the one that's like, they're going to love the album. And it was like, okay, when it gets to this song, what's their reaction, going to be like? And I think that's when you could really get it deeper into the music, where it's like, how am I going to say the things that are uncomfortable for me to say, and tap into that? That's when you're going someplace special.
Yeah, but the thing that I love about you is you say these things that make it's vulnerable, they have weight to them, but the way you deliver it, it doesn't feel like it's too heavy for me to digest. Because sometimes MCs say something real heavy, and you're like, you might not be in the mood to even take that on because they're throwing something on you might not want to wear. But when you say it, it's in a groove. I'm still flowing to it, like it's still like it. Even though you got this heavy thing, it's still a jam, and that's hard to do. That's very hard to do.
I love that. Yeah, one of the earliest reactions I got from somebody is they said like they heard the album and listening to it at the end, they felt lighter. And I thought that was really dope to have an album where, you see the vulnerability and, parts are just straight fun, and then parts of it are less fun and let me look in the mirror and kind of get deep. But after all of that, the listener could still come away feeling lighter and feeling better about themselves and their life. That was like, okay, man, I love that feedback. Love that.
Yeah. That's
So
yeah,
that as well. Yeah.
that's exactly what that's exactly what it felt like. It was like it just didn't. You were saying these amazing things and they were heavy, but it didn't feel heavy on me. Like I'm glad they said that it felt light. It's exactly what it feels like.
And that's why I tried to, with the first song and the last song with the phrase, "You got everything you need, go get everything you want."
Yeah.
Trying to be like a mantra that's positive and uplifting and motivating, and it was hopefully like in the midst of everything in the middle, it's sandwiched by that message. And so you leave with that,
Yeah. So in your rhymes and your delivery and your style, there's a lot of emotion. How did you find that voice that it seems like effortless, but how did you find that voice?
Oh man, it's definitely just years of time. And I've put out I put out hundreds of songs. I've written hundreds of other verses, that aren't out. And so, it comes from the time. It comes from like I truly want to get better and grow and never want to stay in the same place. So as much as I finish recording and I'm like, yo, I'm the dopest MC in the world. The next day I'm like, if I'm still at the same place I was yesterday, that's not good enough, and that's not even just from a technically getting better, but just, getting wider, challenging yourself, how to play with your voice, sometimes and see how that can push. Play with what the music behind you sounds like, with how you write, with how you record. And so I think that process, allows it to be fresh. I feel like I'm always growing. I know as much as I love this album, you never really know. I know the next one, if it sounded just like that, then I didn't accomplish the next thing.
Right.
It's like push beyond that. And that also comes from just trying to do that with my life as a human being, and just push and grow. And I think that'll come through, with the music too. And so that's what I love about the space I'm in now too, is I have this album that just came out. That's still fresh. I'm pushing. I have, the Who All Gonna Be There project. I have another project that's like 80% done that I feel like it's too early, so I won't talk about that. but I'm in a space where I have music that's still gonna be new to a lot of people, a whole lot of music out, a whole lot of music already in the works that's not out yet. And so right now I can just play. I could be listening to a bunch of different things and getting inspiration. Where's my head at? I could be in the studio, figuratively throwing paint on the wall and be like, I would never rap like this, but let me try. Like, let me try to say it like this. And that whole process is going to take me to where whatever the next project is might be like, I didn't expect that from JSwiss, but it's dope. It sounds well developed, but it's nothing like the last one. And, I love artists where even if you hear just like demos of things or features of things in between albums, you could be like, that one sounded like it was in the era of this album.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was in the era of that. Like when Kendrick released the Untitled Unmastered, you would say like, okay, these are the songs that sound like he was working on a Butterfly.
Right.
You talk about, Questlove and, the Renaissance. I don't know how well the album Kamal the Abstract.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a wall thing. And I think it's the last song on the album, one of the last songs, Make It Work. And to me, that sounds like the closest to the Renaissance. Like, okay, he was
right.
You're absolutely right about that.
Kind of the start of, and I love how you could hear that. And so I want you to feel like that with my projects. Like, okay, this is a era, this is a mindset, this is, a place where this is. And, I think that like Real Desire, which my favorite artists have, is what makes, you start to see like, oh, a voice is developing here.
Yeah. What is your writing process like? Like, because your music is so lush and like layers to it and everything. Do you need music, or if you have an idea, you can just write?
Yeah. Well, what's cool is like I said, I've changed and experimented with it. Some over some time. So it used to always be, I would have the beat first, and even there would be rare occasions where you might write to one thing and then move that over to something else. But I would always like write to the beat. And the process of this last album was cool. Was there are some moments and some songs where I wrote them a cappella and then had music built around them. So bear with me. It's piano and voice pop, interlude, which I love because it's like it's so raw. It's something like you won't normally hear a song like that on a hip hop project. Period.
Right.
And I wrote that a cappella. I got to just get it out. And then I took that to Paul Bloom, and it was really cool because we sat down and I just started rapping.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to start rapping and just start playing underneath me,
Wow.
So we probably spent 10, 15 minutes of me just like repeating it over and over again.
Yeah.
While he was playing. And in doing that, he, was noodling around. Then he figured out a form. And once he figured out a form that was, tight enough to go with it, then I said, okay, we need to record it together. Like I didn't want him to lay it down and then me lay it like at the same time. So that way, it's an emotional song, my voices, inflections and stuff. I wanted that to feel like we did it together. So then we set up a mic in the same room and he's playing it at the same time as I'm rapping it, We did the same thing with the last track, Everything You Want, which is just repeating that one phrase. But again, I wanted to get the emotions of me repeating it over and over again and for him to build and ebb and flow with me. So it's like, we got to record that together. D&D, which is a really dope track. The first part of that, the chorus, again, I wrote that a cappella, recorded it. And then I sent that to producer Vicky Cassis, and she, she got the beat, around it. I wrote more to it. Then I took that to Paul, and then he added some elements, so it wasn't just a straight loop, to kind of add some dynamics to it on top of that, too. So those are a few songs where I wrote a cappella and built around it. But that was my first time doing that. But I'm like, I've been putting out music for, at the time as I'm working on it, 13, 14 years. How can I keep it fresh? So that's the way to change it. I did some teaching at SUNY Purchase College a year or two ago, a couple semesters. And it was really cool because the few hip hop artists that I had, they don't write. They literally, and I mean, even plan stuff beforehand. So on one hand, it's a lack of a fundamental of being able to write, because some of them really couldn't write in the moment. They were like, I need to just put on a beat and get on the mic and start mumbling something and mumble a couple of lines and then get it down and go piecemeal like that. Wow. And so while I did want to, encourage them to that's good if you do it that way, also be able to write, beforehand. I definitely took some times where I was having writer's block and said, you know what, let me just open up a session with the instrumental and just start, freestyle until I get some lines and kind of do it piecemeal the way that they would do it. Now I might do a little bit more. I might do 6 bars and then 8 bars and then 4 and then, but that opened it up for me too. I haven't put out anything that I recorded like that yet, but over the past several months, I've been experimenting like that. And that's been cool to see how when I've had writer's block sitting down and just writing, it's opened something up, Right. So it's definitely, like we said in the beginning, I'm a young man, but for as long as I've been doing it, you can get kind of set in your ways. And it's how do you get it fresh? So, you change the process, you change the location, you change where you're getting inspired by, you change something. And so I'm excited about that. And hopefully, 20 years from now, I'll be like, there's something else new I could be doing, and it sounds new,
Right.
That's dope.
Love it.
This guy's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
Something else I noticed, and I'm so eager to find out about this.
Yeah.
Is you work with Elvis Costello.
Yeah, that was really dope.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's I've had a really interesting career from being versatile and being in different rooms, places that MCs otherwise wouldn't. So Michael Leonard, who I met because he had a residency at the Jazz Standard, a club that closed in New York City, with the orchestra. And he was looking for MC to fit in what he was doing. He had a series where he was doing Blue Note suites, so jazz records that were sampled, for hip hop songs. So he was looking for MC to fit in that. And from doing that, we started doing original music. And so, I mean, props to him, because nobody has a career like him at the same, he's playing trumpet with Steely Dan for years. He's got the orchestra stuff, and he's recording orchestra projects. And at the same time as he's producing this hip hop record with me, he's also producing an album with Elvis Costello. So of course, when it came to, you know, Michael, his own orchestra record, he was like, well, the two artists I'm working the most with are JSwiss and Elvis Costello. It makes sense, you know, to get them together. So, you know, he had played, you know, Elvis some of the music that we were working on for our project. He loved it. He's also a really, I mean, really amazing, cool dude. Loves music. Almost has the same birthday as me, ironically. Not the same year. but,
Obviously.
yeah. So we have this song, Shut 'Em Down, that's on Michael's orchestra project. And yeah, so it's Elvis Costello on there. I'm rapping. And then Elvis, he did this, you know, we call it like a historic run of shows at Gramercy Theater called 100 Songs and More. And he did like 10 shows. And when I say he loves music, he's like, you know, in his late 70s, 80s, doing these shows that are supposed to be like 2 hours long. He's making them 2 hours and 45 minutes, you know, long. He's just going. And so, you know, he had Michael on a couple shows. He had me on the show. So, you know, we did the song, the collaboration that we have together. And then we did like a freestyle, you know, element, you know, on there too, which is really, really cool. But just the coolest person. Like we talk about, you know, Chuck D, you know, too, and how he makes sure to dig and know what's going on and give props to everybody, you know, too. You know, and Elvis, he's been in interviews and talking about the collaboration. He makes sure to, you know, shout out what I'm doing and everybody that's involved in it and stuff. So, you know, really cool person. And my first time collaborating with a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Yeah.
And probably not the last.
Probably not the last.
That's crazy because you know, I'm sure me and Flatline, we know Elvis Costello back when MTV used to play music.
Yeah.
True.
And I gotta say that it was cool. That was like from doing that show with him. That was like my first mention in like a big major magazine. So like Esquire magazine, they did like a whole, I don't know how many page spread about, you know, the series of shows.
Right.
So it's really cool to be a part of that. Be the only rapper, you know, that was a part of that. And so, you know, I got to mention, you know, in the big thick Esquire magazine with Elvis Costello on the cover and everything. So that was real cool.
And your name all in caps and
all in caps. They spelled it right. They spelled it right.
Nice.
That was a heartbreak. I'm like,
right.
How to put it back, you know.
Rumble, young man, rumble. So doing shows, I see, you know, you do shows overseas, and can you, I don't know, I think sometimes, you know, people that maybe don't perform may not understand, but or for you, you could tell me, is there a difference between like a show you would do in the States versus, you know, overseas, like how they appreciate the music? Like, do you notice a difference?
Yeah, you know what? I even first noticed it in just even the types of shows that you get, like being able to do, you know, big festivals that you might not be as famous as a name, you know, but what's really dope is like if the right people like putting on a festival know what you're doing, are excited about what you're doing, and are like, we know that our fan base will trust us if we say that they need to know something.
Right.
And so it's like they might not know about you now, but if we tell them you need to know about them, they'll say like, okay, we need to show up, you know, for that. So, you know, what's really dope is to be able to, you know, do shows overseas where a lot of people might not know who you are beforehand, but they come out just because of how, you know, it's been shared. And then you're able to get a whole lot, you know, new fans, you know, too. And it's a real diverse crowd of people, you know, too. A lot of the performances that I've done overseas too are part of like these jazz festivals too, which these days, I think like every jazz festival has at least a couple of MCs, you know, hybrid acts, you know, in there. So it's not unusual. So it's been really cool to step in and do things in that space. I did a festival out in Germany, you know, last year, Block Party Festival in Saint Wendel, which is a small town in Germany, but it was a lot of love there. That was all hip hop thing. I got a chance to do some touring in the UK with this band, Mighty Macombos, which is a funk soul band. Half of them are based in Germany, half of them are based in the UK. If you're familiar with, or anybody watching, the Bacow Rhythm and Steel Band, it's a lot of the same people that are in the two of those acts. So that was like a new type of thing where we were doing their records and they were backing me up for my songs, and I was featured on their album at the same time too. So it's like been different iterations of how I perform overseas, and it's really cool, really cool. And actually, I just got reminded with Mighty Macombos, they have an album that's coming on June 6th, and I'm actually not rapping on it, but I did do some writing for singers. So that was a really cool thing, you know, to do. So it's like funk soul band. You'll hear a couple songs on there where it's people singing, you know, the lyrics and everything that I wrote. You know, which is a really cool new phase of what I'm doing.
More branches to the tree that you have going.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm excited about how that comes out. Yeah, the album's coming on June 6th. So it's the type of stuff. It very much sounds like a movie soundtrack, you know, type of thing, funk soul music, movie soundtrack type of thing. So it'll be cool to see how people receive that, where the songs end up, you know, too.
I'm making a note right now.
Yeah, you know, props to you, man, because like I said, I'm not trying to say that Flatline's old, but but we, you know, I think we come from an era where, like, a lot of hip hop musicians, not a lot, you know, some, but they weren't open to a lot of things. There might have been opportunities for people that could have taken them so many different places. So it's refreshing for you. You know, you're just open, like, hey, you know, I'm doing this, and at your age, like Elvis Costello, you've been saying, you know, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like, you know, some people don't get that till later, or they, you know, somebody else might be like, Elvis Costello, I'm not, you know. So, you know, props to you, man, for just, you know,
thank you.
You know, and it's like when you said in the beginning, and I'm glad that you said that, and I said, you know, how did you get into hip hop? And you were like, how I got into music, and that's the thing, it's all music.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
Just a question that popped into my head. Do you have any like dream collaborations, like any musicians or MCs that you'd like to work with?
Oh man, so I'm looking for, as like I said, I'm really finding like my world of producers. What's up, C-Dot?
Hi, JSwiss. Sorry for barging in the middle of your interview. I'm just gonna sit here and listen. So,
but
please carry on.
I've definitely, you know, I found like my team of producers that is really cool. We're all like carving our own paths at the same time, and so I'm excited about continuing to do that. But I still have my bucket list album produced by. It's going to be a small group of people.
Okay.
Q-Tip, Raphael Sadiq, Pharrell, and Lenny Kravitz.
Wow.
Yeah.
For a while, I've had that on my
I saw where it was going, and then the Lenny Kravitz, like, okay.
Because you know, a lot of the, I mean, I love like the 5 album. That was one that was playing a lot, you know, growing up, and a lot of that stuff too. He's like playing all the instruments on it.
Right.
Yep.
And I think that's something that all the people that I mentioned have in common, is that they play multiple instruments.
Yeah.
Their musical palette is wide. You know, they could make stuff that like really touches just people on an elemental level, like even your most passive music listeners, but also they're like students and nerds and can go deep at the same time. And so I appreciate all that. And I could see the connection, you know, it have a little rock element and soul element and the hip, it just all, yeah. So I still have, as much as I love the producers that I'm working with, I'm gonna have to take a break and be like, when that's said and happened, like I'm gonna work with these producers real quick and I'll be back.
We're gonna work on this for a minute and come back.
Can't wait to hear that album. Jeez.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's why I said it's good. It's just
You put it out into the universe, brother.
Yeah. I've had that. I'm trying to think of when I first started that. I mean, that had to be somewhere between 5 to 10 years ago. So it's never left. Never left.
That's dope.
That's a good question. I'm glad I got to share that because
it's dope. I'll make a clip of it and I'll put it out and tag all the people.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
We'll make sure that they see it, you know.
And I know there's like a lot of 1 degree of separation, you know, already from pretty much all those people. So
make
it happen.
Yeah. Most definitely.
That's crazy. I've read that your music has been in video games.
Yeah, it's really dope. Somebody's Got to Do It, the title track from Sly Fifth Ave in our project. It is in video game Riders Republic from Ubisoft. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Ubisoft, yeah.
So it's cool. You know, it's like an extreme sports video game. So I think they started. I'm trying to think what they started with. Like I think like snowboarding and things, but they had I think like around a year ago they introduced like a new iteration where they added skateboarding and I think BMX, you know, to it, and then they added they have like an in-game radio station, you know. Right. So Somebody's Got to Do It was one that was added on there, and that's real dope because I remember, you know, growing up, like a lot of people, at least my age range, like playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and that was a way that you would learn about there was music that you would learn about and people would love, or if you knew about, but you would hear it a lot in there. And so it's really dope. I was thinking, the way that some of that music was for me, you know, this song could be for somebody, you know, growing up in this era. And when I thought about that, like that's really dope. And I happened upon on YouTube to see somebody, they had posted their gameplay of the game. And it was like 15 minutes, and a few of those minutes were with Somebody's Got to Do It in the background. So I got to see, you know, somebody wiping out on the skateboard, and it's dope. It's like when you wipe out, like the music slows down and does like stop back up, and then they keep going. So it was cool, really cool to actually be able to see it, you know, in that context. And that's what I love about my music too, and I'm excited to see more of, you know, been able to have it in some TV shows and video games and things like that, obviously, but just more, you know, movies and all those different things, because of what it is musically, because of what it speaks to. I feel like it just fits to be added in greater context than just play it in your earphones while you're listening to whatever. Right. It can track so many different things. So, you know, we've had some of that already, and I'm excited to see, you know, more of that. The first song that comes to mind is this song, The Chase, with Michael Leonard and Keon Harold. Like, if you hear that, it just sounds like that's got to be in a movie. Like, you know, it's like I don't know if it's like a car chase scene, like the opening scene of a movie. You know, that's just one, but there's so many, you know, that are like that.
What you don't have to give I'm not looking for a dollar amount, but how was I've never licensed anything for video games. How was the payout for that? Is it decent?
It's pretty decent. It was, you know, you would need several 100,000 plays on Spotify, you know?
Right. Yes.
And actually probably more, because I'm thinking of just of like what my cut is. So if you talk about cutting this, you know, you probably need, you know, more than 1 million. So, you know, it's good for that reason, you know. Sure. So
okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I've had stuff placed in movies, in films, and television shows, but haven't had video games yet. So I was wondering if it was comparable. So.
And definitely in an era where, you know, the ways for you to make a living as an artist is like they're kind of being taken away.
Yeah.
You know, for those frontiers, whether it is, you know, music sync and, you know, said TV, music, video games, all those things, and, you know, selling the merch like the vinyl, doing the shows, you know, you gotta add on those things that are still existing, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
C-Doc, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. Now, since I was driving, I was out in the boondocks, so I caught part of the interview, but I didn't catch all of it, and so I don't want to ask something that's already been asked that I missed. But I do want to say it's so dope that you work with Michael Leonard, because if I was a gun put to my head, name your top 2 music groups, Public Enemy would be number 1, but Steely Dan is number 2. So
dope. Love that.
That's just like, you know, one of their music is soundtrack to my life, and I've seen them live a number of times, and of course he's been playing with them. So yeah, that's so cool. That's so great.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm curious, you have a favorite Steely Dan song?
Oh God, I couldn't narrow it down to a song.
Got it.
But Peg. I mean, you know, the Peg is an obvious one, of course, but Hey 19, I don't know if you're aware, but you know, and there's been copyright stuff all about this. Where this is a non-hip hop section of the show for a minute, but they had found the tape of the lost song, the second arrangement, and there was a guy that did some digital cleanup on it to make it sound as clean as he could, because it was a song that recorded for the Gaucho album that the engineer they did a take of it. They liked the take. They went to dinner, and the assistant engineer accidentally erased most of the song. But before he did that, their lead engineer Roger Nichols made a cassette tape of it.
Okay, yeah.
And his family, like a year or two ago, found that cassette in his archives because he had passed on. And so they put it on YouTube. And some guy, and it sounded decent, but some guy got a hold of it, and I don't know what the hell he did, but he made the joint sound like it came off the album. And it was like, yo, and that's it. And so that would be another one of my favorite songs, even though it's completely bootlegged and unofficial. But all right, that's enough of that.
No, I rethought of it. My favorite Steely Dan song is Kid Charlemagne.
That's a good. I
love that song.
Yeah. Night by Night. Any Major Dude. Come on, I could go all day.
Yeah.
You know. Time Out of Mind. How am I going to forget Time Out of Mind? Shit.
It's too many.
Yeah. Too many, bro. Yeah.
Too many.
Yep. So. Yeah, I don't know what you got.
No.
Go ahead. You guys can finish up because I missed a lot of it.
No, truthfully, I think we covered a lot. And Flatline, you got anything else? Or?
I don't really have anything else. I don't think.
Man, I appreciate the conversation, man. I enjoyed the conversation.
Man, like to learn more about. It's funny because. First Kim, Newbie, she put me up on your music, and she's like, check this out. Like, yo, this is dope. She's like, keep on going, but now to talk to you and learn more about you, and I'm like, and this is what these, what we do in these forums are for. So you get to know people more, and I'm like, oh, this is, this guy got his head on straight. He's doing his thing. So. Yeah. So
yeah, it's dope. I mean, Ultramag hipped us to it. He's like, "Hey, I want to get this kid JSwiss on the show." I'm like, "What's the shit he's sending me? What's the shit?" No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. But I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll check it out," because he was like, "It's dope," and I put it on, and right away, I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's dope." I mean, no question. This is right up our alley. So
love it.
Yeah,
and we usually don't have young people on our show.
Right. You talk to the old heads.
You're a breath of fresh air. So
yeah,
man. But I love also shout out to Soulbuck for the mix.
Yeah.
He went deep. Some songs he was like, maybe 11, 12 years, back. Right. Pulling it. So yeah, I appreciate that. And the love on Rap Station. I know it's somewhat connected, over the years, as well too. It means a lot.
Soulbuck was in here. I saw him.
Yeah, he was in the chat.
Okay, cool, dope.
Did you guys talk about what he's got coming up next? Did that come up?
We did, but I could always do it again.
We do.
Run through it and let everyone know where they can find you.
Yes.
Yeah. So the album that's out now is called You Never Really Know. It's out on all platforms. Bandcamp is the best place to check it out.
Damn straight.
For sure. And also on Bandcamp, it has a pre-order for the album on vinyl. It's coming beautiful vinyl, gatefold, beautiful artwork. It's as personal as the album is, so definitely check that out. And then, as I mentioned earlier, have a group who all gonna be there, GON, be there. Myself, Ben Williams, Marcus Strickland, Jared Shokley, Asar, Marcus Gilmore, incredible live band. We're having our debut show on July 8th in New York City at New Blue before we do some touring. We got an EP from that coming soon as well. And keep checking out the music videos. The music video for Slow Down is out now on YouTube from the album. Out of Bounds music video. More music videos coming from the album. So yeah, there's a lot coming.
So and where can people follow you at?
Oh yeah, and if you on the social media, it's at JSwiss here. It's JSWISSHERE. That's also the YouTube page, youtube.com/@JSwiss here. So do those things. And then wherever you find music, it's JSwiss, all caps, no spaces. Any music platform is there. Any music platform is there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And thank you so much for having me. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry I missed it.
No, it's all good. I
It's been
understand.
great. Thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. JSwiss, everybody.
Peace.
Clap for that, man. We clap for him. Yep.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I will have to go back and watch the show.
Hey, C-Dog.
Hi, Ultra Mag.
How you doing?
Flatline, Jennifer.
Yo.
Good to see you guys. Sorry, I was late.
It's all right, brother.
No problem.
Like I said, I tried to catch it in the car.
That's why you have friends.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
It's nice to have friends. It's nice to have friends.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
What's that stupid song? You gotta have friends. Who is that?
I don't know. I was gonna say friends.
Yeah,
How many of
Like
us?
Billy
have
Idol or something.
friends?
Oh, really?
Not Billy Idol. Oh,
That's not Billy Idol.
had to know.
No, that's a White Wedding
Right.
or Eyes Without a Face.
Be White Wedding, yes.
Eyes without a face.
I love Eyes Without a Face. Eyes Without a Face.
Oh my God.
Yo, the 80s were the best, man. I'm telling you.
I tell you, bro.
80s
Where's
were
my
the
Billy Idol tape?
Oh.
Yeah, and I was in Hollywood sitting at a traffic light,
And there he
and
was.
my friend says, "Roll down your window," and
Yeah.
he was sitting right next to me on a motorcycle.
Yeah, he was.
Too
Billy
many
Idol.
white
She wanted
weddings,
me
Miss
to-
Kate. Uh-oh.
She wanted me to push him over, but no.
Can't push over Billy Idol.
Yeah.
Hey, I was like, "That's Billy Idol."
Yeah. It's Billy Idol.
freaking idol.
Oh yeah, so okay. Well, you guys covered it. Flatline had a new show.
Yeah, I had a new show. I already talked about that show.
Yep,
you
I
missed it.
heard part of that. That's why I tried to jump on in the middle of the drive, but that didn't work.
Played that
Yeah,
Enemy
I
Radio
missed it.
featuring Donald D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Radio.
so now the only thing left to do is, hey,
Shut up and go home.
does Body Hat Weekly have a show tomorrow?
They
Yeah.
do.
Do.
Easy motherfucking E.
Easy motherfucking me. Easy does it.
Yes.
I've probably said it before. I have a controversial opinion about that.
And
Oh, I share your controversial opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Jennifer talked up somebody who's actually on that album, Greg Mack. He's on
Greg
that
Mack,
album.
that's
He
right.
makes an appearance on that album.
He does.
Greg Mack.
Yeah.
Yep.
As does the late great Nasty Ness.
That's
Yes.
right. Yep.
He showed up very late,
Seattle.
according to the
Late.
song.
Yeah.
It was already up.
Is your controversial opinion that it's better than Straight Outta Compton?
It's
It
so
is.
much better. It's like ridiculous how good that
Yeah.
album is compared to Straight Outta Compton, and I will say that until my dying day, whenever that is. I still can't find my Billy Idol.
Possibly. Okay, so maybe not on an overall lyrical sense, but production song wise, yes, completely. It has the stronger
better.
songs. I think it's a better, more cohesive record.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I love Straight Outta Compton.
Sure.
Straight Outta Compton is a crazy, incredible record, important record, but it's also Straight Outta Compton feels like it was split between like, okay, here's the songs we did before we heard It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, and here's the songs we did after we heard It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back.
And here's Arabian Princess song.
And here's Arabian Princess song, which I love. So, yep. Yes, indeed.
You know what? That everybody, listen, we all love Dre, but Eazy-E's album, Straight Outta Compton, and DOC, that's my favorite Dre. Like that's that's Dre for
right
me.
there.
And DOC above those other two.
And DOC above those other two.
Bro,
I mean, come on.
That record.
Think of that time frame, and Dre just bro, oh, so good.
Yep.
And then the second NWA album, the Sonic. Oh my!
There's half a great record there.
Well, I'm not the lyrics.
There's half of a great
You've always
record.
said that ever since I've known you.
There's half a great record there. Yeah, not lyrically. Lyrically, it's all.
No.
Oh no! I can't.
But production-wise, there's
Production-wise,
and which is interesting because I think I heard somewhere. Did Arabian say it? No, it wasn't Arabian. Somebody said it that they worked really hard on half of that record, and then they got to a point where Dre was like kind of getting pulled away, and so they didn't work so hard on the rest of it. Or it just got finished quickly in a hurry or something like that. I don't remember if it ran out of time or whatever it was. But
What say you, Flatline? That's ooh.
Oh,
I mean, I would pick Muggs over Dre all day, but that's only because I'm a just massive Muggs fan.
Wow.
So yeah, for me, it's Muggs.
Muggs kind of has he has the more extensive catalog by far.
Wait,
I go Dre, but anyway,
that's kind of tough.
Yeah, I don't get caught up in all that stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I like them both.
We have our preferences, and that's what it is. They're all.
Yeah.
It's just opinion. It's just a matter of whatever you like, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't go me. We don't do that.
Yeah. Nah.
Listen.
Nah.
Yeah.
Flatline likes lyrics born, and
What? Hey! Yo, man, we're still alive here. We're still alive.
No,
this isn't the after show, guys. Wait a minute.
No. I told you it was I watched a great interview with Lyrics Born.
You did.
I'll have to.
It was a great interview with him. He touched on so many things. How Soulside started. He talked about Gift to Gab.
That's dope.
It was like about an hour. I was captivated. Like, yo, and you know me, and I was captivated.
We do.
We know how big a Lyrics Born fan you are.
Yeah. So that's saying something right there.
Yep.
And he may not be retiring.
Oh.
Shocker.
Oh.
I mean,
It's this big resurgence. He's about to retire, and then it's like he's like, maybe I don't have to retire.
So. Yeah, he probably still should.
I thought the show wasn't over.
Alrighty. Wow.
still alive.
It's not over, folks. The hell is really.
I don't really
going
know
on
his
here?
music. Well, don't retire. Retire if you want to. Who cares? You're not gonna listen to me anyway. Who am I?
Let's be nice, people. Let's be nice.
Exactly. Shout out to Lyrics Born.
Yeah, shout out to Lyrics Born. Also, C-Doc, when you rewatch this amazing episode that we had with JSwiss, you can hear me talking all sorts of nice things about Enemy Radio and how it's just phenomenal. Like, I obviously liked it before. Well, you watch the replay. You'll see.
Okay.
Man. Yeah. We can talk about it later. More.
We can talk about it later.
When we're not.
Yeah, because I got a question to ask you.
Okay.
Well, unless we could do it here.
Okay.
Because people, is Chuck going to be on the Sway?
I think so.
Okay, because I watched the Breakfast Club interview. That was great with him and
I have to finich it, but I almost finished it. I almost got through it. It was really good.
Yeah.
I think he's doing Sway. Don't quote me on that, but I believe like originally he said he's done the East Coast press part is done. He's going to do the West Coast now. So yeah, so that's what he's giving up. I think tomorrow he starts that. So yep, the good stuff. So if you haven't heard it yet, go check out Enemy Radio. Let us know what you think. And Body Hat Weekly tomorrow night. Easy Does It. Angie Don't Stop Radio Show Friday on Mixcloud and select stations. And Sunday we have the mixtape with Soul Business, Soul Buck in the house, and Jennifer and Ultramag. And he'll be playing the music of our next week's guest. Who we got coming up next week?
Oh my goodness. Are we all ready for this? Where's the Public Enemy logo?
Oh,
what up, Doc?
Yeah. Where is it? Oh, damn it. All the PE stuff I have, and I don't have anything right here.
Oh my God. Who's coming up?
Wait,
at the very beginning with LL. He's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee.
Where the hell is it?
See, Doc, I find it hard to believe there's no Public Enemy logo at your finger.
Neither one of these two.
I know, it's crazy, right? It's all over there.
There, I got it. I got it.
There it is.
And the man in the
crosshairs. Yep. E-Love.
I swear it ain't
Mr.
me in the
E-Love.
PE logo.
I think I have
Yes,
that.
sir.
I swear it ain't me in the PE logo.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yours, Flatline's got the better one. Yes. So the legendary E-Love will be with us next week. So,
Jennifer had vertigo. Flatline, stop it.
So Business gonna play Mad LL this weekend. I'm guessing. That's my guess. So
I'm sorry. Yes, but lots and lots of LL probably.
Lots and lots of LL, which is something else. But I'll talk to you guys about that shortly.
But actually, I hear that he was influential in Tupac.
Yeah, the post LL.
The list goes on and on and on. Tupac, John Forte of the Fugees.
John Forte.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the list.
Long time.
Goes on to John Forte. Anyway, we'll be talking to E-Love next week. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And please, if you dig what we got, like and subscribe. We got a lot of great content here at Channel Zero. And we will see everybody next week for another episode of It's C-Doc again. And hopefully I won't be late.